Let me cut my camera on. Man, how's it going, brother?
Man, I'm blessed, brother. What about yourself? Thank you for having me. Like you done dropped out on me, bro. Oh, there we go. There we
go. Man, you know that's how it happens sometimes with the technology. It get like that. Appreciate. You know what? You on your phone?
Yeah.
Rotate it the other way. Oh, you got the okay, so that ain't gonna work. You got Apple.
Man, you know I got an Android, bro. I'm an Android.
It don't matter. I was just trying to tell you because you got the orientation lock. So when you turn the phone, it won't allow it to. Because what I'm trying to do is get the screen to expand.
Right. Usually when I automatic flip it, man, it usually just flip on its own.
Yeah.
So I don't know why it's not doing it, but usually I turn it, man, it automatically turns and spin over. So
yeah, no worries. That means the screen orientation lock. No big deal. We can work through it. It's not a. I was just trying to get the expansion on the screen. But regardless, all right. So I appreciate you for jumping in with us today. You know, I'm Professor and Fred. So I started this show, if you will, as a way to pretty much educate the community as well as give back. So certain shows, I have some incentives attached, whether it's money or if I go out and purchase something from somebody in the community that's creating hoodies or some other business service that they give out. For example, the first show we did, we had a business consultant and we gave out an hour's worth of time. You know, we paid her for that for somebody that is trying to work on a business plan. We bought some hoodies and we raffled that off. And so to that end, you know, different shows, we're going to be able to do some things in terms of educating the community while entertaining them, as well as giving something back to them for just even focusing in and trying to learn something that they didn't know. So for y'all that's tuning in, y'all already know what to do. My name is my name everywhere. You go to that YouTube, look at DeAndre Rudis, subscribe to the YouTube page, share the content, like the content, and if you comment something that you learned that you didn't know before, then you got an opportunity to get at least $25. That might be some gas for somebody. So you know what I mean. You do those 4 things, I got $25 for you. You know, we're gonna pick the person at random, and that's how we doing it. So today we got brother Al Stinson on, good brother from the community that I know over here in Austin. He's been doing some remarkable work with the youth. You know what I mean? He's focused in on violence prevention and some other topics that we're gonna touch on today. And so I'm excited to have him, and I'm hoping that you all can learn a little bit more about what he does and how he's gonna take his specialized approach to violence prevention into the streets of Chicago and do something a little different. And so today you're gonna learn a little bit about your edition. Did I say that right?
Yes, sir.
Your edition, and you're gonna learn a little bit about your brain on guns, because that's the movement now. So with that being said, brother Al, thank you for joining today. And before we get started, let the people know a little bit about yourself.
Man, just first of all, thank you, brother, for having this platform, and you know, thank you for having me. Just something about myself. Been a Godfield and Austin resident for the last 46 years. Experienced a lot of adverse childhood experiences. Grew up here, did a lot of things not the right way. Surviving my trauma helped me transition. Well, now I can affect behavior change, I think, and you know, just I feel like it's my duty. You know, I do a program called Becoming the Man, where we instill values on to young men on how they can become men in spite of all the challenges, all the trauma. You still can grow and transition from out of that and become the man you really want to be. And so, you know, that's one of the things that's big in our community: the lack of fatherhood, the lack of mentorships, and just being a man wanting to see that change. Because we got to be our own medicine, brother. And so, you know, that's my spiel. You know, not coming up with my father, seeing the effects of so many brothers in the neighborhood not coming up with their father, not having that guidance, and all the things we turned it to try to cure that father wound.
Mm-hmm.
And so, 70% of us have one.
Mm-hmm.
And so just bringing awareness, man, and just being conscious and intentional in all things that I do, and trying to re-educate the masses.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you know what? As I mentioned before in the outset, I did craft some questions specifically for you, and you actually just touched on some. So again, as they come up, I'm just gonna throw the questions on the screen, and then we'll have a conversation to go along with it. So that first question I got for you is, how did you actually become involved with becoming a man?
Bro, it's crazy, man. I was working in the autism field, and I worked for an autism school for over 10 years. And I was doing a lot of restraining back and forth. I was a transitional specialist over there, and also a teacher's assistant and a parapro. And so for me doing it 10 years, man, and doing all of the restraining there, because we had the young men there from actually 8 to like 25. And so it was a lot of restraining was involved, because we dealt with every disorder up for the DSM-4. I mean, every disorder you can mention, along with the autism. This is what we was dealing with. And so it took a physical and mental strain over so many years, doing so many restrainings. And I was like, you know what, man, I done had enough of this. I hurt my back. And so I just started going to different agencies and see who got good mentorship programs and things like that, what I can get into just to make a difference in the community. And I actually walked downtown. I saw a place called G.U.N.S, man. And I just walked in there. I had my resume and I had my book and everything, my portfolio. And I said, hey, I'm Al Stinson. This is the work I do. Here go my portfolio. And they said, you know what? We looking for a person like you. And they had me on the spot. I had one interview like that, and that was 13 years ago, and I've been there ever since then. So I knew right then that was destiny.
So youth guidance is what led you to be. So they were the ones that started the Becoming a Man program?
Right, it's through Youth Guidance, right? Youth Guidance is the organization. They've been around 100 years.
Oh, really?
The BAM program was founded by Tony DiVittorio, who works for Youth Guidance, but he founded the program.
Oh,
and so
okay.
The program actually started over there at Clemente. And so BAM is 20 years old, but the agency is 100 years old now.
Oh, wow. Okay. Number one, I never heard of Youth Guidance. And you said, so they have a downtown location, any other locations around the city?
No, that's the main location, one north of the sale. And we also have a program for the young ladies, which is called WOW, Working on Womanhood. So we got WOW and we got BAM. But Youth Guidance is the organization.
Okay. And where's the BAM program now? So with Youth Guidance being centrally located downtown and the BAM program starting at Clemente, where else is it active at?
Brother, we probably like in 150 schools in the city of Chicago.
Okay.
We actually nationally recognized. We're in 7 different states now. Hold up, we're in 9 states now. And we also in London.
Oh, in London too?
Right. This the program just exploded, man.
Wow.
Where it's nationwide now.
Oh, that's amazing. And what exactly is the curriculum or the focus for Becoming a Man? Why is it so expansive now? Why do other states and countries need it?
Because the Chicago University, they did a study, I think back in 2015, 2016. What BAM is you get a counselor. He goes inside of the school. He have a caseload of 50 to 60 young men. He provides counseling, group counseling, mentoring, one-to-one, and then they also get exposure. They get all type of different exposure, man. They go on college tours. You get to deal with your father wound. So it's actually like a SEL program, a rite of passage, and a cognitive behavior program. So you get like 3 aspects. And so the counselors work inside of the school. They do a whole school day there. So they become part of the school system. And so I think that's why it started to grow, because now you got a person in there that can provide mentorship, social emotional learning, and you got that other guy there that building report, that's building that relationship bank account, as I say, that RBA with the young man. and it's been flourishing. So
Yeah.
through the study and our model, the results were that we reduced out of school suspensions. I think maybe like 40%. We reduced recidivism with the young people going in and out of the system.
Mm-hmm.
The graduation rates went up maybe 30, 40%
Mm-hmm.
for the participants that was in the program. And it started to be almost something that was needed to help kind of like prevent some of the violence that our young people have to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
So, but with the program, what we do, we instill core values. We give these young people a value system, and the curriculum is a year-long curriculum where they have to understand the 6 core principles of BAM. We take them through group missions, and it's lessons on that. And then we process it. We do the check-ins, we process the group missions. Because we feel like, man, if you got a value system, you can become the man you want to become if you work this value system.
Oh, no question. No question. So the last question that I'll ask, or the last two before I move on from this particular question is, one, how old do you have to be involved in the BAM program? And then how do you get involved, both BAM and WOW?
It's a volunteer program, ages 6 to 12. Sixth grade to 12th grade.
Okay.
And it's a volunteer program. Mm-hmm. But with the WOW counselors, I think they go up on a different method. They get a lot of referrals because the majority of they counselors, they are clinical. They master social workers, so they're more clinical. BAM is more concrete, but we do have knowledge of clinical work. And so we just say, look, man, we recruit, and we it's a tier 2, tier 1, tier program. But now we're trying to get into the tier 3 is because of the behavior, the after COVID behavior.
Yeah.
So now we trying to work with just expanding with all students that's needed.
Okay. So you earlier you mentioned, there was some things that led you down this particular path that you on, essentially trying to teach others to steer away from some of the things that you've gotten into. And I just want to know if you want to open up on that a little bit, just talk a little bit about what that is and what you're trying to steer some of these young men away from.
Yeah, just our programming. We by us coming up in generational poverty, poverty is the biggest trauma. And so you get into certain things. So many of us get us into certain things that's trying to escape poverty, and what comes along with poverty. And so now we start to develop a poverty mentality. This is where survival come in, especially if you don't have the proper guidance or you don't have other vehicles, other outlets, or other resources. So you're gonna get into a lot of times with the environment into, because now the environment is your culture, it's your learning. And so when you walk outside the door, man, you see everything out there, man. This eventually they're gonna get you trapped or killed out here, and that's all part of the G.U.N.S trap. But this is what we grab to when we don't have the hierarchy of needs. So we're gonna go out there and try to feed our stomach the best way possible. But that's the trap, and this is what being promoted. This the algorithm. It's so easy to become what you see. And so I'm just trying to give the other people other eyes to see. I survived so many different things, and I've been blessed, and I feel like I've been chosen to do this work. I feel like I've been chosen by the ancestors to do this work, brother. So we can stop this cycle. We are the music, we are the culture, and we got to change and challenge our culture because our babies are dying, man.
Jeez.
We have to take the village back. Our young people is shooting down the village. Yeah. The foundation of every state is the education of our youth, and we have severely miseducated our young people here, and we wonder why they're shooting down the village.
Right. So that definitely leads me to this idea that you said you got a campaign that you want to run called "This Is Your Brain on Guns." Back in the early '90s, in the aughts, there was the I don't know what.
Me too, bro.
you had the "This is your brain on drug" campaign, where they
Right.
were really trying to steer us away from the drugs, and it don't seem like it's anymore. We done legalized everything, but beyond that, that's neither here nor there. You just talked about shooting up the neighborhood. You know what I mean? And so you are crafting a campaign specifically to deal with the amount of guns that are coming through the neighborhood. And so I'm intrigued to learn more about it, because we touched on it during our passing, but I never really delved into it with you. I really wanted to do that here so that multiple people can hear it as I'm hearing it and finding out about it as well. So can you go a little bit into detail as what is your brain on guns?
Most definitely, man. Me and my partner, Kenya Hawkins, we started this program called Your Edition. And Your Edition is a person that has knowledge gained through studying or life experience. And from what I know, being part of the 80s and that crack generation, we became the crack. And just like the 80s, our communities was flooded with cocaine. Everybody had access to cocaine, and we still recovering. We still hadn't recovered from that crack generation. And so a lot of babies were born addicted to crack. So now you transition to the 90s, when gangster music, when they made the deal to bring on gangster music, our community became flooded with guns. And so just like we had so much access to the cocaine, this generation has a plethora of resources to guns. And now everyone has a gun, just like all us back in the 80s had cocaine. And that became our genocide. Mm-hmm. So each generation is defined by its music. Back in the 80s and 90s, we had crack music. This generation music is called drill music. Mm-hmm. And so what drilling is actually telling you to do is to pull the trigger every time your brain gets triggered. Mm-hmm. And so with this initiative, I'm really trying to bring re-education to what the body holds, and that your brain is literally a gun. Mm-hmm. Because this is the programming on our young people. So we are in radical times. So we have to have some type of new radical reform around gun control, and also bring an education on your body. Because once we get shaken, we pop off like a pop. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, we're not a pop, we're a gun. Mm-hmm. And so this is what I'm trying to bring awareness to. Because once we get trapped back in here in that amygdala, our savage survivor brain, mm-hmm. all this prefrontal cortex gets shut down. Mm-hmm. And so we didn't properly educate our young people on the signs to poverty and violence. Mm-hmm. And I just think this is somewhere now where I can bring this information in, where I can be conscious and I can be intentional with it. Mm-hmm. Because they have to see this here. We in a visual society. Mm-hmm. So they have to literally see this is a brain on guns. I don't know a young man, but I got a picture of a young man that some people know him as. He literally has a gun tattooed on his face. He has a whole gun tattooed on his face. Mm. And I just recently saw a young man, 5-year-old young kid, man, make a gun out of the Lego blocks. Not only make the gun, cock it back, and then aim it at a young baby girl, 5 years old. Yeah. And I said, that young man, that young kid brain has developed on the gun. Mm-hmm. And this is what we have to bring awareness to, man. And it's biology. The root to trauma biology is the root to all trauma. Mm-hmm. And for the last 20, 30 years, we have had extensive gun trauma. Mm-hmm. My son is currently incarcerated on gun charges. Mm. I mean, 3-4 guns. Every time he get out, he privy to another gun. Mm. Because the gun is our father. Wow. And that's part of the father wound. Mm-hmm. If you ever ask a young person, man, how you feel when you shot a person, or if you shot that person, first thing you're going to say, man, it felt powerful. This is my provider. This is my protector, my investor. So when you don't have a father, you don't have that provider, protector, investor. But guess what? I have that gun. That gun is my provider, my protector, my investor. And so that's why you see so many young people can't leave home without it, because they say, man, I got my father here. The gun has replaced the black father here.
Yeah.
And so, and the gun has significant ties. The gun is actually attributed to our penis. And so it has real deep roots, and that's what your edition is about. We rooted in transformation. So we're gonna get all the way to the dirt in it. We're gonna get to the mud of it.
Yeah.
But we can bring this type of exposure and a different type of awareness to our culture, because we died here every day.
Yeah.
And we died unconsciously, brother.
No, I hear you. So I just watched They Clone Tyrone the other day. You seen that?
Man, yes, sir. And it's, boy, look, hey, come on now.
I just finally watched it. I wanted to stay away from it because I'm like, I'm tired of seeing this reoccurring themes. But I sat and watched it, and it was actually a cool movie, man. And hearing you speak about, obviously the gangster music of the 90s and now the drill music of today. They had a couple scenes in there where they was in the club and they played the music and they had everybody wilding out. Then towards the end of the movie, they talked about the different frequencies in the music that is attuned, to the subconscious, and this is the suboral. And then you got that is the way that it's connecting to you, so they're putting these hidden beats within it that activates these places inside of you, like you said, the amygdala, the survival area of our brain that takes over and has us acting a prehistoric fool, because that's where we learn survival from. And I think that's an important thing for people to realize, that some of the time, a lot of what they think they are in command of, they actually aren't. You know what I mean? And it's everything that we consume, whether it's the food, it's the music, it's what you see daily, and I think especially like in our community, the education has severely diminished, where we don't understand, that it's everything that we consume, not just one thing, But that movie, I finally watched it, and so to hear what you're saying, that movie touched on all of these things,
Yeah, because it's a systemic death. We have accepted death as a culture. It's death in our food, death in our water, death in our music. So you got to understand, it's always a psychosomatic connection.
Yeah,
body, brain, and so we are a spiritual people. Music is our DNA. And so if you could control the music and get us on a frequency, if we're not woke, we're gonna dance to the vibration of the frequency. And so our young people is dancing to the gun, and they drilling from the frequency of the gun. And so this is why it's important that we become radical in bringing a type of woke type of awareness, and it's not gonna happen overnight, because this didn't happen overnight.
Right.
It was crafted.
Right.
And so just like who called on Tyrone, it's in everything. It's in the food, it's in the chicken, it's in every goddamn thing. Excuse my language.
No, you're right though. No, it is though. There's no escaping.
So escaping it. The low vibration is in everything.
Yeah.
Because we have to go back to life and understanding what life is and having a respect for life, because we have accepted death as a culture. And that's systemically.
So what do you think is the remedy to that? Like where do you start first, right? Food, water, visuals, everything is polluted. But if we could have at least one thing that we could rid of the toxin, what would that be to start the process to get us where we need to go? What would you think?
Man, it got to be visual. Just like, man, you got all the McDonald's, the Burger Kings, all these different signs. You have to put up signs everywhere, man. I mean, anywhere you can post a sign at with these pictures on here, because most people believe what they see if they see it all the time. You know what I'm saying? We believe in McDonald's, because it's in our neighborhood. It's expensive. I mean, it's goddamn, it's cheap. But it kills us. You see what I'm saying? So the more transparency you have with visuals, we believe what we see the most.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we don't have in our community. We don't have these pictures and these posters and these signs that represents life and radical change.
Mm.
You know, that need to be posted up just like the guys posted on the block. That need to be posted.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Whose responsibility do you think that belongs to get those posted up?
Man, I think it's all our responsibility because we all in a village.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it would be nice if the people we put in the offices get out here and walk with us and take the campaign with us. But it starts with us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then, you know, we have to hold the people we put in office accountable for what they're not doing and what they're not supporting in these times, because it's all hands deck on approach. You know, it have to be, as I say, it have to be calm unity, because, you know, calm unity is the root word of the community. So we all have to have this common unity on.
Common unity, yeah.
How do we bring awareness on every aspect, on every level, to a people that's unconscious about so many different things? And of course, do we really want to do that?
Man.
Do we really want to do that? Yeah. And that's the question. Do we really want to do that?
Yeah. I will say this. We both live in the same ward, basically, you know, and at least our alderman is one that is engaged in participatory budgeting process, which allows community to have a little bit of say of some of the menu money that is allocated to each ward. Now, it's not a ton of money, but he does give community choice over what they'd like to see done with that money. And what you're saying is something that I've always considered in terms of, you know, I ran for alderman before and will run again. And that's something that to me is, I believe, would be a value add for the community, where we could see messages, where we could actually get people involved in developing that message and these pictures and things like that. So for me, I would love to get a campaign going where we could get the aldermen and other folks in the community to support the beautification through messaging,
right?
Through pictures that actually support where we're trying to go as a community.
Because, brother, if you look at I think that was 1987 when they came out with "This Is Your Brain on Drugs" campaign, and man, that was everywhere. You know,
there was, right?
You know, that was everywhere. And so, all the business owners that own businesses in our ward, hey, you got a business here. We need you to put this. We need to put this sign up in your place of business. You know, a part of awareness. We have to bring awareness, and we have to hold business owners accountable too. Hey, look, hey, this is what's going on in our community. Right. A lot of people come here, they shopping. Put some up there where they can see on their way out.
Yeah.
You know, just if they just see it. If they just see it.
Blocks as well. I'd love to see, just, you know, how we always had it. We call police in our windows. Right. Something that signifies, like you said, common unity. Something that lets people know that, you know, because I know we have block club signs on one end of the block or the other. Sometimes we'll have banners hanging up on the light poles. Bring something high level, something that as you move past, it's attacking your subconscious. You don't.
It's right there.
You know what I mean? Because I myself have a ton of visual cues around the crib that are just there for the subconscious. You know. So I recognize the power in it, and I need our community, like you said, how do we approach them when they don't understand that this is happening to them subconsciously? We just put it in front of them and just let it continue to affect them subconsciously.
Yes,
and they're not knowing, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I do want to piggyback off that and ask you, so how do you engage with a community to understand their needs and concerns?
Just getting out there, man. Every time I get a chance to see, if I get a flyer, I get an email. Hey, they got this going on over here. They going this over here. I'm going in there and just say, man, can I speak to somebody? This is what I got going on. Because you can't have presence if you ain't present.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got to get out here. You actually, like I said, you actually got to get out here like you campaigning.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see what's going on. Hey man, look,
Yeah,
they beating over there. It's a police cap meeting over there.
yeah.
You know, they meet at the church. Hey,
Well, ain't no shortage of meetings. That's for damn sure.
and I think that's the problem. We meet too goddamn much without the action.
Man, there you go.
Just imagine if we had action. If we had action with every meeting, we'd be all right.
That man, I told my brother that just the other day. I sent him a text. I said, "Man, I'm in another meeting. I'm meeting to meet, and talk. No. Exactly what I told him.
You know, and I just think sometimes I think that works against us because, you know, they say, well, let us set up so many meetings that'll make them thinking they mad that, hey, we really changing something. But it's just meet the meeting. I think that's a form of gaslighting, man.
Yeah.
But now, you know, we got to have action, and it got to be now.
Yeah.
Because it got to be now as we speak. Somebody dying right now, kid getting shot right now. So, and that's the reality. Somebody getting shot right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So to piggyback off that question and to kind of bring it back to the guns focus, I wanted to see, because one of the things about the community is there are so many issues and meetings about those issues, and we can spread ourselves thin being involved in every single one of them. So I really wanted to focus in and see what other work, right, specific issues or challenges are you focused on within the community outside of the guns and your addition, really trying to get at the root of the traumatic experiences that our community has. What else are you involved in?
Just more employment opportunities. You know, just what I learned, man. All the guys that I come up with, we all, you know, the ones that still here, we all transition. We transition through employment.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you can get sustainable employment, where you actually can make a living and have a decent livable wage, now you got something to look forward to every day. You know, so we always say, put the guns down or something, but okay, what are we going to get them to pick up? Because it's a habit. You have to change in a habit for a habit. And so if we can get sustainable employment training opportunities or internships or things of that nature, or something where these young guys can say, you know what, if I work this program here, I'm guaranteed a business or where I can produce an income. Because I'm always asking. That's the first thing, you know, when I was a counselor in the school doing the VAD program, I used to always ask a young person how they eating and how hungry they are. Because that's going to determine your behavior. And so if we say, hey, don't eat this way, we have to have another way where they can almost eat, and it have to be swift. You know what I'm saying? It have to be something that they can transition right into that, so they don't go off the procedural implicit memory. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I don't want to get too technical with the science, but we have to start building new neural pathways. As I'm learning through the Trauma Arizona Institute of being certified, this is how we continue to push forward if we trying to break a habit. You know, it's kind of like the psych cap you was doing. As we was talking about. So we got
I mentioned that to the folks in the class. You're talking about neuroplasticity.
Yes.
You're talking about neuroplasticity, and it's the brain's ability to create new neural networks.
Yes.
But, you know what our issue falls into is the fact that we create mental models, and these are just the way perceptions, culturally held beliefs, and the ways of doing and being that we have become accustomed to that takes precedence, as you were mentioning. And so sometimes it's hard to overcome all of that programming to create these new neural networks.
Right.
And in a lot of ways, it takes people to be really, really open to receiving something different. So when you talk about like the food and them being hungry, we have to figure out like it was done in the past, what they say, you get a medicine with the candy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then create those new neural networks in that way. So to that point, what do you think? How do you give them the medicine with the candy? You know, when somebody's hungry in the way that we're hungry in the community.
You know, brother, we done been so put to sleep.
Mm.
You gotta just drop it here and there.
Mm.
And so I try to focus on a planting, because if you shake somebody too quick, they're gonna smack the shit out you.
Mm.
Because of our distance, you know, our survival. So every now and then I just try to say, okay, what can I do, or what can I say to make somebody think about their thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Because if we could start doing that, that's what's going to bring about behavior change. We have to do something or give out something to say, hey, man, if you can, think about your thinking, because we had all been lied to.
Mm-hmm.
And survival mode keeps us in a certain brain mode.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, so if I was running a business or something, I was running a restaurant business or something, and it was fast food, what I would do, man, every time they order some chicken or something fried, man, I give them an apple, or orange, or banana.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because now, you know, it's a weaning process that, you know, we have to go through. It's just like, man, when you fight a substance disorder,
Right.
It's a 12-step program. Ain't no easy fix for this. And so, man, you have to really go through a whole change. You know, and it have to start with a mental change first. But okay, it's like, okay, how do we process and receive information? But you got to go to the stomach to get to the head.
Yeah, I receive that. One of the things that I have been such an advocate for, and not vocally, and maybe not as vocally as I should be, is this: we need more salad shops and smoothie bars and places where we can actually work on our physical right in the community and then go get the nourishment after. Because we have way too many chicken spots. And I love my Black-owned businesses that's continuing to open up, but all we doing is creating more opportunities to just juzz up all of the food that ain't no good for us, though.
Right, it's crazy that I was telling the shorty, I said, just look around. I said, ain't no place in the hood where you can just go buy an apple, an orange, and a banana together. You see what I'm saying? Where you can just get a basic fruit bag. Who sells basic fruit bags? You know, remember they used to sell them in front of the train station.
Facts. Yep.
What happened to that?
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? And that's part of the culture, and that's something that had to be addressed. That's why we food desert here. You know, and we once we get a level of wokeness, we know that's all by design. Well, you can't go nowhere and just get some goddamn fruits. If you just want to eat some fruits, you may not want to eat no junk today. But if the junk there, you're gonna eat the junk.
You're gonna eat it. Right. And then, you know, people act as if they don't understand why our kids bouncing off the walls. You know,
come on, man.
If you go into every corner store in the morning, go get a little super donut with the juice, with the flaming hot.
The flaming hot.
And like, that was the point. So I was teaching at Project Exploration. That led me to teach with After School Matters at Diet High School. I was teaching sports science. And so I was working with the boys and I was trying to add some of my psychology to some of the work we were doing. And what I would do is I would have them read the back of, I had them do an assignment. Man, go to the corner store and go get something that you would get all the time. You know, so they coming in with the cakes and the chips and the juices and everything. I say, okay, now here's what I want you to do. Look at the back of that label. Anything that you can't readily pronounce, I need you to go up to this board and write it down.
Right.
And then I need you to find the definition, stand up here and tell your other classmates exactly what that is. You know what I mean? And we started reading, and then, you know, everything on there that you can't pronounce links back to cancer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, I had a kid when I was in Douglas. He used to eat the flame house every day. And it gave him an ulcer. It was tearing his stomach lining up. This kid was 17 years old. And I told him, I said, hey, Look at the back of the chips, man. That's red dot number 44, whatever. It's red dot something.
Red 40,
and so,
40.
Red that get the 40. And so what it is, if you have like a disorder, ADHD, all that shit there, that's not conducive to the brain. And so I think in Europe they actually banned that dye. They can't use that dye in nothing. But by America being a capitalist state, they don't give a fuck. The money is in them killing you. That's where the money is.
Yeah, and, and you're gonna see them in our hands more than anybody else's hands, though. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And so the red dye and everything, and so you go in there, you ain't nothing on your stomach, and this is the first thing going on your stomach, and that's going straight to your brain. So now you hot chips, goddamn, now you hot temper because you put all this hot shit in your body. You know what I'm saying? And just getting them to understand those concepts, like, hey man, you are what you eat, literally.
And
sure. That's our number one killer here.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Man, you know what I mean? So I wanted to get back. So we basically talking about a bunch of foundational issues in the community, from the food to the lack of visuals that could really spur us to something greater, and some of these other pieces that have really affected what we can be. And so you started with your partner, Kenya, Your Addition nonprofit, and you touched on it as getting towards the root causes of the traumatic experiences in the community to help, as I wouldn't say expect youth, but anybody who wants to develop. And so I just wanted to get into that and talk a little bit about what Your Addition is, the launch and everything, and let's inform the community of what we're trying to do here.
So what we'll be launching in March, and like I said, Your Addition, when we say rooted in transformation, we look at it like the bar to pop. Our body is a container full of acid and chemicals. And so if you shake that pop, we're gonna pop off. And so I'm glad you was touching on everything, because all that goes into making us who we are. And so when we got all these different chemicals and things in our body, and we hold them, because trauma is what the body holds after the experience. And the minute we get shaken, we're gonna pop off. And that's the correct biological response to your triggering. But what happens when you keep shaking the body up? We're gonna destroy ourselves. And this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring awareness where it makes sense to the person we're giving it to, because we have to make it make sense to them. And so we want to get that message out. Hey, look, we can be water or we can be pop. But here go the things that makes us pop, and here go the things that makes us water. And the transformation part is the fact that once we get shaken, if we can learn how to regulate, how to learn how to recognize our triggers, we could come back to form like water. Because the reality is life gonna shake us all. You see what I'm saying? We all gonna experience some type of traumatic experience here, and it's gonna be consistently. But how do we continue to push forward, and we operate from a strength-based model? You know what I'm saying? Where we focus on the assets that we already have. And make sense to our young people, because if we save our young people, we save the old people, because the old people are dying because of the young people. In effect, you look at all the grandmothers and things like that that got custody or taken. Man, the fact that our young people are burning down the village, that's causing more health problems to the elder state, and we have lost our elders in our village. Due to a plethora of things, man. And so this is what Your Addition trying to do, where we can build common unity, where we can make it make sense in layman's term to everybody, where we can be our own medicine in this trauma-informed care business and not get pimped in it. Because so many organizations are pimping our trauma. The non-awareness factor. And we like, no, we have to stop that. Y'all not gonna pimp our trauma. And when I say pimp, I mean producing income for the manufactured profits, because they producing a lot of the goddamn trauma. and then they're profiting from it. And so just bringing this basic awareness where you can say, God damn, I never thought about that, but that makes sense. So it's kind of like trauma 101, where you can start getting some of the concepts for self.
Yeah.
And then you can do your own exploration that's going to transform your life.
Yeah.
And so, this is the way we want to go. We want to be conscious, and we want to be intentional in all aspects of what this movement and what this organization, our organization, is about. And like I said, we'll be launching in March, and we're going to start trying to work with anywhere between 10 and 14 youth, where we teach them about the body, then take them out the environment, expose them to something different, take them to some greenery, and then continue to build up on that there. So we starting out just by planting, dropping the seeds. And eventually we want this to be peer-to-peer, where a 21-year-old can say, hey, you know what? I have the skills to go get this to 11 or 12-year-old. So that's the motif, the model that we want to have with New Edition.
Yeah, I see exactly what you were saying in terms of PsyCap. And obviously with PsyCap, my whole goal was to develop psychological resources of hope, optimism, resiliency, and efficacy through a workshop training program that really focuses on many of the things that you're saying. So in the workshop, for those that were able to be in the experiment, we focused on strength-based outcomes to help you reach your goals. So we talked about what are your personal strengths that can help you reach your goals.
Exactly.
We talked about asset mapping so that we could discover the people, resources, organizations that can help us reach our goals. We talked about multiple pathways to reaching the goals so that in spite of obstacles, or when we meet obstacles, we could just bounce back off of it and go to a different path to still meet that goal. And again, that was more or less, and I should say lastly, we also talked about reframing, looking at how you look at things,
right.
And so what you're saying is absolutely everything that I know is needed, which is the reason why I chose the non-for-profit environment to bring my study into, because it's people like yourself that are actually doing the real service of the community and really giving back in a positive way, because you understand the necessity, and it's these root causes that we are not addressing. Like I'm like you, we have way too many nonprofits that's focused on profit. You know what I mean? Like y'all just really out here creating programs with nothing that really undergirds it in terms of research or people that can actually develop this out so it could be proper for the community. You're just doing this so that you can get another source of income, a revenue stream, which fattens the pockets of the people. And that is something that infuriates me to no end. So I'm with you. They sitting here poverty pimping. And one of the things that really was disheartening to me as I went through and was looking for folks to be a part of my study is that the largest organizations in our community does not employ the most people from our community.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? Now you're not going to say and tell me that the Austin community, which is the largest African-American community in the city of Chicago, don't have enough people with enough qualifications so that at least 50% of the people that works in this organization comes from right here. You know what I mean? Like I love that you all are starting something that is focused in the realm of the psychological and really getting at the root, because we need it. We don't have it. And for when we do have it, again, it's just some trumped up program to get a person another income stream.
And see, you hit it. That's why I asked you if you can be a part of this, because PsyCap is your addition.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was just alignment.
Yeah.
But I like I said, my vision as the executive director, I want this to be a deprogramming program. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? I want this to be a detox. Mm-hmm. And so, well, it's all about this, the reframing that. And so every time I went in and did CBT, You know, I talk the language. CBD is basically what causes us to do the shit we do.
Yeah.
What keeps us doing the shit we do.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And how do we start that process, or where we reframe and we really think about our thinking to bring about behavior change through the stress that we already have. You know, and so you know, I'm just thankful that you're giving me this time, you know, through this vehicle, and you know, just thankful for you to be working, you know, along with this.
Yes,
you see what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we have to find a way where we become our own medicine.
Yeah, for
because,
sure.
The medicine that they giving us, that's for their profit.
Yeah.
And so we have, I think we have the capacity to do that. You know, with Psych and what I know from being certified as a trauma and resiliency life coach, and then with my life experiences and with my other education. I know if we get the right people, we can start a movement.
So I'll say this: I definitely agreed to be a part of the development of your edition because of the alignment. One of the things that I came into this year being hyper focused on is collective action, and I said that this year folks ask me to help in any type of way. I'm asking who else is a part of this so that we can make this larger than we actually envision. And so I'll end with this question because we talked a little negative on some of the organizations that exist, although we ain't say any names, you know. But what organizations that exist right now do you see as viable partners or that will be partners in development of your edition or helping to get what we're trying to get accomplished?
Oh man, I just Breakthrough. I'm doing a lot of partnership with Breakthrough in East Garfield. Breakthrough, of course. My niece is Root to Fruit. I'm just really trying to work with the people that's on the ground. Black Men United. You know, they get it. Together Chicago, they get it. These are, you know, and I want to reach out to Mahafa as well too. And I can see that all of them being viable because we hear every day. And so the common unity is that we hear every day. We on the ground every day. And so collective and collaboration is the new partnership. We got to be done collectively. You know, and so there are some other organizations that I work with personally that have that same common unity.
Sounds good.
Oh, and Bill. Can't leave out Bill.
Okay, bet.
Can't leave out Bill.
All right. So I want to make this disclaimer before we definitely exit. For those that's tuned in, as y'all know, again, we do this. This is about education and entertainment. Hopefully you learned something new. And if you did, y'all already know what to do. Go to DeAndre Rudis on YouTube, subscribe to the content, share the content, like the content. And if you comment something that you learned by watching this video or this particular show here that you didn't know before you got here, I'm giving $25 out. You know what I mean? Again, we're doing this the whole year. We making sure the community is fed, like Brother Al said. So, you know, if you take this 25, don't go get no chicken. Right. Don't go get no chicken. Get you an apple, some bananas, some oranges, you know what I mean? And some of that good water with the 9.5.
Right.
You hear me? You know what I mean? But you can or some gas or something to get to work, whatever it's gonna be. But again, man, go to the YouTube, subscribe, like, share, comment something that you learned by watching this video that you didn't know before you did. And I'm gonna choose somebody at random, give some money to. Before we exit, I'm gonna give you the ISO screen. And please, whatever you'd like to share about the work that you're doing yourself or your edition or anything else, please do so right now.
Man, look, if you can, when you see your edition, please support. I'll be putting on Facebook, other vehicles. So that's your edition. I'll be launching in March. We'll probably be doing a small campaign. All donations are definitely going to the youth. Everything is youth-centered, youth-focused. we better together. We got to do this together because at the end of the day, our youth and our kids are dying every day, and I'm tired of seeing the pain in the mother eyes, the grandmother faces. So we have to be the medicine on our problems. So if y'all hear me, thank y'all. Tune in and let's create real change and real hope, and not false hope, but hope in the world. So thank y'all. Y'all can see me at Al Stinson on Facebook. Tune in with me. Check out my videos and other things. So peace and blessing. My screen went dark. Peace and blessings. Peace and light. I love my community. I love my Black family. And I'm out. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. We can still see you. But anyway, y'all already know, man. I hold y'all a little longer than I was supposed to. Class dismissed.